Hey, happy Saturday. Hey, I wasn't able to stream on Thursday, so this is a little quick makeup stream. Not sure if we're going to have the regular crew with us today, but let's go ahead and everyone's doing well. I felt really lucky the weather was nice and got to get outside for a bit today. Okay, so UX Design Contest 14. So this is the last live stream in support of this contest. Again, it's all about giving the San Francisco SF website a visual design refresh. Entries are due tomorrow, end of day tomorrow. You can go to uxdesign.com. uxdesigncontest.com rather. That's important. The contest part is important. And submit your entry. So today I want to pick up where I left off. Talked a little bit about visual language. That's gone through some iteration as I've had a chance to think a little bit more about it and review some inspiration and look for patterns that I wanted to reuse. And so now I'm ready to create a test to collect some quantitative and qualitative data on my design versus the current website. The goal is to improve not only the visual design, but the site through visual design and visual design. So that's what I want to do today. Where am I going to start? I'm going to start by hopping over to Sketch, my favorite design tool, and show you where I am. So here's my progress. On the left here, this is the current website design. Okay, and you should see, you probably notice quite a few similarities, right? Some reused images, some content pieces. I didn't change a whole lot in terms of the content. And then here's my refresh idea, applying my new visual design language. Right? Similar, yet different. So let's go ahead and set up the test. I think that I've already exported these images, but just in case. Let's, background color is not applied. What's that doing there? This, and I'm getting this. At 2x, I'm going to export these. All right, and while that is working and I'm using Optim plugin to crush those down to size, let's head back over to the browser. Back over to the browser to UsabilityHub, and I don't have my credentials set up in this one. Oh, this one has a bunch of different. Actually, it might be this one. Robot. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create a new test. We're here in UsabilityHub, setting up the test, and my test name is going to be SF Visual Design Competition. competition, contest. Oh, visual design test, project. I've only optimized this for desktop, so I'm gonna pick desktop only. And there's a bunch of different sections you can add, right? Different questions, you can show an impression test, a first click. Impression test might be kind of interesting to see if the most important pieces of information are still noticeable and people are their eyes are drawn to those and they're grokking them. But for this situation, I'm going to choose this preference test rather. And question, which there's a whole bunch of questions we could ask, right? We could say something simple like, which design do you prefer? Better design gets you more excited about visiting. Long-winded, but it might be too long. Which design would you rather use? This is the one I'm gonna pick for my question. And it'd be interesting, you could actually run multiple preference tests with different questions to try to see, do all of those questions tend to get at the same thing? There's no frame for the device. I'm gonna go ahead and add those two images. Uh-oh, I got one that's too big. Too big. What am I gonna do? $5 MB. One of them is just under. The other one is almost double that. All right, change of plans. We're gonna go back here. Popping over to Sketch real quick. Bit of belong. So I'm going to do a 1x. It's unfortunate. I could do JPEG though, actually. Let's try this. See what happens. These are going to be significantly smaller. If I can get the JPEG versions under 5 megapixels, then I can use higher DPI versions. Otherwise, I'm going to be stuck with I'll get the 1x out just in case, so I have that as backup. Yeah, the JPEGs don't look much smaller. Alright, so it looks like we're going to use the 1x images, that's fine. Pop back over. UsabilityHub, I'm actually going to remove this image then. I'm going to browse again. Waiting for these other ones to crush, finish crushing. Enough. Let's open this up. And it's giving me a little progress bar. Normally what I'd be doing, and actually this is so nice, it actually improves this a little bit. UsabilityHub has made some changes. Something that was always annoying every time I had to go in to edit this image and then pick the DPI, but now you can pick it directly. I'd say the only other better thing they could do would be to automate that, and when a file has at 2x dot file name, then they can do that automatically. Hey Ralph, welcome. No, I'm just kind of diving in and getting started. I'm making up. Wasn't able to do the planned stream on Thursday, so doing a quick makeup here. So I've just got my 2 images uploaded. Great. And then I'm going to add one follow-up question. And I'm going to say, why did you choose? Which design would you rather use? Why did you choose that design? I'm not even going to make it required. I find that usually when I ask this, I get decent responses even without making it required. So we'll try that again in this case. And that's pretty much it. I'm pretty much done. So I'm going to save and continue. And now I can recruit. I can use a UsabilityHub panel. I think I've got some credits left to do. So I'm going to spend a few credits. I'm also going to do this for Ralph if he wants to. I'm going to put this in the chat. So Ralph, if you're free and you want to go take that test, are welcome to participate and appreciate your feedback. I'm going to go for an odd number, so there's no chance of a tie. 9 participants, although if Ralph takes it, he'll be 10. Well, I'm pretty confident though in my design, so let's do 9. Two more credits, 2 credits. Yeah, let's do it. You can always add more. Great, and then I can go ahead. I can take the test myself just to show what's going to happen. So let's see. I think I'll take the test. You'll see what the test looks like. Hello, you've been invited to participate in a short test. Start. Which design would you rather use? Click an image to zoom in. Click to view the images. And the great thing about UsabilityHub is it's randomly displaying one on the left and one on the right. So there's no, it reduces the likelihood of any sort of order effects or bias, right? Like people are just biased to the first thing they see at the left, everyone picks that one, then you might not actually know if your design made a difference. But I'm scrolling through here. Design do I like better? I'll put my name in parentheses so we can ignore this from the data if we want to remove it. Larger images, text. Okay, and then you can see what that looks like. Now we go back, refresh this tab. There is a response. So there we go, we've got one response in. And as I continue getting responses in, I'll see these bars change perhaps. Perhaps some people like the current design, maybe some of them familiar with it and they're like, oh yeah, that's familiar, it feels really safe. I'm gonna pick that one. See, so that's the test. That's, I don't know, how long did that take? A few minutes? Set it up. And Ralph said he's done. So if I refresh, now I can see there's 2 responses. And then I can start to see what people answered for that open-ended question. So I'm getting the quantitative data, counting the number of people. I'm also looking at how much time it took potentially to further kind of qualify that. And then I'm getting the qualitative, subjective information about why people preferred that, which is great. Okay, that's that. If you have any questions about using UsabilityHub to make a test, let me know. If you don't have credits and you're looking to just do something for free, please feel welcome to create your test and tweet me or email me or somehow get me the link to your test, I'll be happy to participate in it, and I will be happy to share the link as well. All right, moving along, let's go to, oh, I don't actually have set up for this yet, so add another video capture. Okay, I've just teleported us into a tool called Notion. I suppose I could do a little blurb about Notion before. Where did shoot? Okay, great. I got everything back. Let me go back to Chrome. Okay, so we're back at Chrome. It will help me if I can see it now. This might log me in. Let me see. Not log me in. Great, it doesn't log me in. Fantastic. I'll pop this link in chat. Notion, there's also Coda, which are very similar tools. Let me post both of these links. Chat, and they're just basically like super powered docs. So I'm going to be using Notion for this case study, and if you want to use Coda or Google Docs or a Medium post, like you can use whatever you want. There's no requirements around the tool. Like use whatever you think will work. All right, so now I want to go back to Notion. I'm just going to set up my case study a little bit. UX Design Contest 14. Let me see what I can copy over from the site. Website. There we go. Maybe I'll have this be cool. Okay. Quick outlining. Let's talk about what I want to cover. So I want to provide some context. I want to show current site design versus a redesign. And then I want to highlight visual design decisions. Okay, and among those, I'm just going to be kind of looking at my own file off to the side here rather than switching back and forth. Talk a little bit about colors. Colors, typography, about buttons, CTAs, then talk a little bit about, oh, that was interesting. Oh, because I made a slash. Slash in Notion is a key that I'm going to be doing something special. Buttons and CTAs, and then let's else visual balance. Great. Okay, let's start there. So, contacts, like what is this? Maybe I can copy over right from the web page. So the design outcomes. Apply a new visual language. Website, and I can link to that website. Let me add some other text first, though. Ability. And text. Accessibility. Aesthetics. Great. Now I've got kind of my goal. Why am I doing this? Why? I'm running a contest for designers. Part support them. Also, great. Through the process of focused on great and getting with an exercising visual design skills, testing, reading, variations, and communicating about great. Okay, did it. Now let's dive into our current my redesign a word, or does it need a hyphen? Checking on Google. Redesign definition. One word. No hyphen required. Great. Okay, so for this, I'm gonna whip out some columns. And let's see if I can grab those 2x images. These are really big, so we'll see if nice. Looks like it's actually doing it. Oh. Columns, and that's not so easy. Kind of show how columns are in this tool. Kind of drag over till you get the vertical there. And like go into a wow, really zoomed in. That's my only option. Yikes. Goals. Great, there we go. Redesign. Okay. That. Ooh, I should bring in my test results too. Forgot to talk about that. Reference test results. We have some what I'd spend more time on. Add it. And then fun or proud and proud. Apology. Okay. So I've got the side by side. That's really simple. Tighten this up a little bit. Oh, what happened here? Right, can okay, and then I want to highlight some of these decisions. One of the things I could do, if I had something nice and neat, which I don't, but I could have a style guide. Add image showing. Page style guide. I didn't really invest in that. I have like some great stuff. But let's go in here and start looking at like some of the color decisions that I made. Best way to grab. I think I'm gonna have to go over into Sketch. So let me grab this. Head over and work in Sketch a little bit. Go. All right, and so what I'm gonna do, I'm pasting this information again to help guide me, and I want to pick out some specific color choices that I made. And I think one of them that I'm going to focus on are these buttons. how I tried to leverage the zoo logo and branding. I thought this has good contrast, so it's good for accessibility, and it's a brand color. So I tried exploring pulling in that brand color that seems to play with a lot of this stuff really well. So I'm going to highlight that, and basically I'm just going to do a quick button audit. Grab some buttons. Listing site, I'm going to show like consistencies here. Button. I see something that I'm missing now from mine that I would do. They have this international, they have these flags because they have information in Spanish and something and Chinese. Missing that from my design. So all these little things you start noticing. Always easy to iterate and come up with something even better given more time. Okay, so we've got those buttons, and then let me show some examples of mine. Oh, and then I should show these. I'm gonna grab station. Grab the whole thing. Probably should. All right, let me figure out how to do that. A little bit. This. These things don't really look like buttons. Okay. Talk about content that I removed. Well, maybe I'll talk together. Yeah, let's go. I basically removed this entire content, this YouTube video, which might be fun, but really like breaks up the flow of the site, and this embed Twitter thing that shows one tweet. I didn't have enough time basically to go through and figure out what my strategy would be for making that better, so I just cut it. It's better to just like direct people to the social stuff. Interested in that? texture in the bottom. Footer. Oh, I should get example of the buttons, right? Sharing those. These are so I'll keep those as square. Cool, so we've got some of these button patterns. Well, content. I think I'm gonna highlight this. They just have this thing that says Amazon Smile Shop Now. It's kind of like, okay, why? What's the point? I got some inspiration from another zoo. Add some more content so I can rework that. Right? Support your friends. Included some instructions. That. Those, and then let's subscribe to Animail. This one's also one where I invested a little bit in updating the content. What else? Ooh, the mission statement section. Imagery. I'm gonna grab these penguins. Right. All I did was literally just slap some shadows under them. Not the best or most accurate shadows, but if you're not paying real close attention, it looks a lot more natural than seeing things without a shadow under their feet, because we're in a world where there's a sun. What else? Ooh, this kind of thing where things are not sized. Got like inconsistent sizing. That's updated version. I don't know if I should do everything. Everything rounded. Noticing now I'm mixing. I think that's fine. I have time more. Okay, cool. We've got a bunch of these things. Now I'm basically going to start pasting these, copying and pasting these over to the Notion doc. So we'll head over to Notion so you can see where things are showing up. Colors, I talked a little bit about buttons. I think actually for colors I want to focus on the contrast. Legibility. So a punt on this one. Over some buttons. All the same size. What happened with back? There we go. Now they're more reasonable. Shape. Size. Okay, and then content that I wanted to focus on. Smile. And a male. Changing imagery. Have it down here. Example. And then he's a hero as well. Funny because it's literally the exact same image. It's just used a little bit differently. The position of it, Gorilla's face is much more clear. He's looking in this direction, really leveraging that look to get you focused on important calls to action. The fact that there are any calls to action in there is a big thing. All right, that's a bunch of stuff. That I didn't apply that I should. I'm gonna use this as a lessons learned or a mistakes section. Got to add drop shadow for here's what it's like. I just went in and added it out the shadow. It's not awful, not great. Okay, cool. Curious to see how's the preference test doing. Should I up back into Chrome and just take a look? Whoa! Already got 11 results. Current design only got 1 vote. That's interesting. We filtered by this one. Why did someone choose? I can see all content whole. Okay. Now what about this one? Colors match. Information is easy to get. Images are high quality. Structure has all data. At first sight, the top of the page is more appealing than the other one. The first impression is stronger. And scrolling down, I think it's more modern than the other one. Interesting, which is basically some of the goals that I have, right? It looks much more inviting, more simple, and more user-friendly. More pictures, designs, and directions, different links. Very nice, colorful pictures on both, though. Great, I did try to reuse the imagery. Simple, elegant design, better organized, like pictures better. Cute baby monkey immediately grabbed my attention. Design looks more organized and welcoming. Other design is cluttered, unorganized. I hate it when it's a nig hate and several blocks, each with its own structure and order. The less element number is there, the better. I don't understand. Why did you choose that design? Someone wrote that they hate it. I don't know what that means. I think it's supposed to be a positive thing, but there's some really weird language in here, and I don't understand what it means. Anyways, cool. So that's some information I'll be able to include through. All right, so just writing some of the stuff up. Like desired outcome. General audience. My website. Current design. And my design as cleaner, easier to use, cleaner, more intuitive, or more aesthetically pleasing. Great. Okay. I'm gonna punt on this stuff for now. Let's see. How do I do strike through? S, C. Command Shift S. Okay. I actually have to. Command Shift S. Command Shift S. Keyboard shortcut doesn't seem to work at all. That's interesting. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna punt on those. Can come back and find it. Imagery. Well, I thought I was gonna create a numbered. Go. I added shadows to the image. As whoa. Okay, it's not true. And here's the joys of the joys and difficulties in creating a case study when you've got nested elements. Okay, now that can I place it right? Other side. Fantastic. Where's my little line about adding a shadow? Cool. Alright, so what did I do? Notion does a lot of things really great, but column control is not one. Okay, now everything's just in one big column. All right, I can work on this. Basically, if you start from a situation where everything is in one big column, you should be a lot better off. Well, thought I could move them side by side. All right, and then what did I do? Oh, this imagery. I repositioned the gorilla photo to face and leverage the gaze direction to nudge ears, eyes. Okay. Now these aren't being numbered correctly, so okay, buttons. Calls to the existing as inconsistent application class elements buttons, and then cool. Look at these buttons. Maybe I point out a few things. Station. Background. Text can warning for the grammar errors. This is a really common one. So it says sign up, right? And I guess it could be saying sign up is a thing, but it's weird. What they really mean is sign up. They want you to do something. Maybe I can ask a question, because sign up is technically a thing, like sign up page. This is the sign up page. This is not the sign up page. Mix of verbs and verb and noun. I think I actually kept that mix of verb and noun labels. I didn't fix that. Issues I identified. Cool. Okay. Issues. Okay, and this is all before, and then after. I redesign my all buttons, all standalone buttons. Is rounded corner. Static. I used uppercase capitalization. I applied case capitalization across all. I applied turning for ability of all caps text. Oh, and I can share. There's a few examples. Navigation. Lower contrast and good text. Colors moved. Also elevated. Why did I elevate? I elevated social media link or increased discoverability to encourage word of mouth advertise, organic word of mouth advertising. Okay. Maybe I'll do something like add an icon here or something. That. It'll just be like this. Buttons, is emoji, as more visually interesting buttons. Spacing is hard to work with the emoji because they're different shapes and different sizes. Alright, let's do that. Site. I highlighted a up now at Amazon file. Text Y visitor, a site visitor. Missing value proposition. Okay. Word to 9. Added. Okay, this animal thing. Sites in a mail section wasn't particularly telling. Wordy, automatically. Two M's. There we go. Label typo. That, and then I think this pattern's working. Okay. Issue, solution, issues. Maybe we need some more spacing or dividers, or maybe I make these into toggles. But you get the point. How are we doing? We're coming up on 3 o'clock, which is going to be my stopping time. 3 o'clock Pacific. We've got about 5 more minutes. Sorry, Ralph, I totally lost track of chat. Ralph's asking for my design, did I do it all on a new artboard, or did you sort of place your components on a screenshot of the current website? Let me finish this little animal thing, and then I'm going to jump over and dive into your question. I added a verb to heading. Shortened text. and flattened UX by adding capture. Okay. So anyways, you can get a sense of how, for this kind of case study, right, this visual design case study, I'm really focusing on making things easy to compare, current versus redesign. I want people to have the same experience that people had when they did the test, right? I want them to see like, oh yeah, this is better. Oh, I got it. Yeah, this is better. Oh, I see this. These are more consistent, and this has higher consistency and looks more compelling and has better contrast than these. Right? Those are the kind of things I want people to pick up on. So that's my strategy for this case study. Yeah, it's like, it's not super polished. It still looks a little janky, but with a little more time kind of cleaning up, you can see how this case study just goes through a bunch of the visual decision making and kind of gives people an understanding of how I tackled this, and gives them hopefully compelling evidence through these visuals that, oh yeah, this is an improvement. All right, so that's that. Let me hop over to Sketch. So what I did, Ralph, was, let's see if I have an example. So my literal workflow was, for example, like the hero section here. There's a couple things, right? So let me go back to some inspiration. So one of the places is actually the Bronx Zoo that I got a lot of inspiration from. You can kind of see very simple, clean navigation at the top. These kind of buttons that stick out, kind of pop out, and are easy to see. This clear notice or alert banner when things are open. You can see some similarities in the way that I'm processing these images. It's not exactly the same. Is even more visually interesting with the contrast in the text. But these are some of the things that I looked at. And then in terms of the actual process, I had to figure out my own kind of grid and width. And once I did that, I tried to reuse images where I could. The problem with these images is they have text on them, so I couldn't reuse these images exactly, which is one of the downsides. And actually, I should call that out in the case study, that this text is not, a screen reader can't read this, presumably, unless they're leveraging alt text. But it's not as strong as having the text on its own layer. And then in terms of building these different things, here was my process. So once I had a pattern for one card, so to your point, Ralph, like, let me kind of, I would have this card I'm building, and I would kind of look at it and go through, okay, it's got all the pieces, and like copying, pasting from the actual website, the text in there. And then once I have this, then I brought that over here, and I literally just, did I need a screenshot? No, I didn't need a screenshot. So because I'm copying all the text content from the site, so it's actually popping back and forth between the site. I'm trying to think of another situation where I did any copying or pasting. For the most part, I work side by side. The more I think through this and try to remember my process, the more I was working side by side. I wasn't doing, for example, like trying to trace this, and then you could trace it, you could apply some opacity, you could start adding some text, visit our blah blah blah. I didn't use that personally, just because I knew I was creating things that I'm working on a slightly different grid and have slightly different requirements and have these new images and stuff anyways, that I didn't really use that a lot. And then Ralph says, you notice that pattern on hero images sometimes. Do they have a specific name? I think you're referring to these kind of things that are popping up, right? These little, I think they're buttons. They're like navigational elements. I guess they look like folder tabs, right? And same thing on the Bronx Zoo. I mean, honestly, I would call this a button group. This is essentially like a hero button group, right? Because in this particular hero, this is interesting. There's not a specific one call to action. So it's like they want to have multiple calls to action, but they don't want to have maybe like 3 buttons stacked. So they created this button group. So it's a call to action button group is the way I would describe it. And mine's a little bit different. As you can see, I have a primary, which is kind of duplicated here. So maybe I don't need reservations there. You know, the more you look at this, you always find new things when people ask you questions, or when you have the opportunity to look at your design with some fresh eyes, right? That's highly redundant. Maybe that's good. Like, maybe that's so important it doesn't hurt to have 2. But if it is super redundant, then we could pull that out and just have 3. If it was 3, in that case, I would probably change the colors. I'd do like red, green, and blue. I'd do those 3 primary colors and leave orange out. All right, that is all the time that I've had. Ralph, it was great running into you on the weekend. I hope you are competing in this contest. I would love to see what you can do and what you come up with. Again, to everyone who's participating in the contest, good luck. Have fun. This shouldn't be hard work. It should be like fun and interesting work. And hopefully some of the tools that I highlighted today will give you some additional tips on how you can make it happen. Oh, nice, Ralph. Ralph inspected the buttons on the website. They call it hero links. That's a great way. That's a super smart way, Ralph, to start learning the names or seeing what naming strategies people have. So yeah, hero links, right? Very similar to like hero call to action. Awesome. All right, Ralph, I gotta hop. It's been a pleasure. To everyone participating in the contest, happy designing, have fun. I will see you later.